Say less. Today on the Manspace. Welcome to the Manspace podcast. We're your hosts, Doctors Matt Brown and Rob Porter, and clinical therapist Mike Porter. Welcome, Spacemen, to what will probably be our most efficient episode ever.
With a little less S on Rob's part. With a lot of S's, man.
Say less. It won't be efficient. Who am I kidding? I've been thinking about this multiple times because I got to my sister's house when I was dropping Whitney off, and she's got a book on the counter that says something. It was called like Powerful Brevity or something like that. I was like, "This is how to be."
How long was the book, though?
It's probably
Plus,
about that thick.
I find it funny that Marianne's reading it.
That's why she's reading it, because it's like, I got to learn how to do this. It's like, me too. People keep telling me to be like, Rob, get to the point. I'm like, crap.
You could start speaking in sign language. Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
I had a client that was hearing impaired, and so the interpreter in session was like, hey, can you, she just, like, my client kept looking a little bit confused. And then the interpreter was like, hey, can you just get to the point? I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm speaking like a therapist. I thought like trying to like speak in a way where you like don't spark defenses and, but you're also like cutting to the chase of things. But she's like, no, like in sign language, a sentence like, I went to the store today would be go store today. And
yeah,
that's interesting.
So she's just like, just cut out all the fluffy in between and just get like, you're not going, basically she's saying she's not going to be offended, and that's going to be easier for me.
That's what's interesting is when the people that I've known or worked with that are deaf, it's like sometimes when they speak to me, it's like,
does it feel like
you just got right to it, like you're just punching me right in the face.
Yeah.
Like oh. And I've learned that someone kind of explains like sign language is much more just direct, and here's the key elements.
It's just like words strung together, less in a sentence structure, and
they're just getting into it. It's like, oh,
I had to, when I was a collections officer, I had to talk to somebody who was deaf, and so the interpreter over the phone. I can't remember if I learned this later, but they have to like embody the energy and mood too. So they were like. So funny because it was like, hi, this is interpreter, blah, 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 blah. Or some like a consent type of thing in a totally like flat voice. And I was like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why? I just started laying into me like, why did you take my car? Like, whoa, sorry.
Are you ready? Because this will not be me in a second.
Wait, whose car did I take? What?
Yeah.
Break it down. What are you kidding me?
Rob can't figure out my
carved mahogany.
I was just looking at how much. I'm like, oh, peanut butter chip. That looks delicious. It also feels like a brick.
These are my favorite ones so far, but they're like made by some Michelin star chef.
Oh.
But the new thing now is like adaptogens. It's like, it's funny. I'm like, what are those? Oh, they're things that help your body to adapt. I'm like,
adapt to what?
There's like all sorts of, but I just like them because they're like very few ingredients and they taste good.
What are they? Show me.
They're IQ bars.
Today's episode is brought to you by
IQ bar.
It's backwards.
It's not.
Not on my end.
It's not?
No.
In my screen?
No.
It's totally backwards.
I don't know what to tell you. You're weird.
What? I don't understand science or technology. I'm all nappy time. Matt's telling me about a time when he got his daughter drunk and
did you ever hear that story, dude?
And I'm like, Matt,
no.
Okay. So anybody from League City area will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the East Star China Buffet. There's this place like right on the corner of
I was
street on my drive home.
I was making fun of it.
You know, it looks like a hole. Like, it does not look nice on the outside, and the parking lot is always slammed. And I'm like, what is it with this place? So, out of curiosity, Rob and I went, and the inside is much nicer than the outside,
Yeah.
but
It didn't smell like
Chinese
fish.
Yeah,
It was fine.
It was okay. But when we were pulling out, Rob's like, next time we got to go to this Frenchie's place. And again,
because it's called
Frenchie's Italian Cafe.
Yeah.
Frenchie's Italian Cafe.
Well, the funny thing is, right across the river, the little drainage canal, there was another place called Franca's Italian.
Oh,
and they were like these dueling families, and Frenchie's won out, and Franca's has been out of business for a while.
It feels like me opening a restaurant called like Roy's Authentic Chinese. You know, it feels like, I mean,
Is it?
But Frenchie's is kind of a landmark here, and it's like this kind of multi-generational Italian family where I was telling Rob the first semester I taught here that my practicum class wanted to go out to dinner for the last night, and so they're like, let's go to Frenchie's. So I called for just to let them know we were like going to be a big party, and the guy answers the phone just like screaming at somebody else in Italian. And he gets on the phone. Hello. I'm like, hey, I just need to make a reservation. So that was kind of like my first introduction to it. But then I took my girls when Lisa was on a trip when we first moved here, and the guy that owns it just kept getting in my girl's face like, it's a good spaghetti, no. They were like, yeah, it's really good, leave us alone. They had this like old, like senile aunt in the family, probably just walking around awkwardly staring at everybody. And but super good food. But I just ordered a bunch of desserts. I didn't know what was what, so I just let the girls take what they wanted. And Natalie's like super happy at first, and then she's getting down to the bottom of her little, it was like a pudding, like mousse type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
She just like crawls over to me and lays down on my lap. She's like, Daddy, it's my bedtime. I was like, what? So I grabbed her dessert and tasted it. I'm like, holy crap. I don't know what they put in that.
Got his daughter drunk.
Wait, how old was she?
Oh, she was like, shoot, it was like when we first moved here. So yeah, she was like 4.
Daddy, it's my bedtime.
Daddy, it's my bedtime.
I like that a lot.
I knew something was wrong because it was never her bedtime back then. She was like always the life of the party. So
it's enjoyable.
That's hilarious.
I was just going to say, by the way, maybe I've mentioned this before. If you guys have never watched Fargo, not the movie,
I think you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the TV show. Yeah, it's on FX. Each season is its own season. They all stand alone.
Uh-huh.
Dude, it is so well written. So good. In fact, I was telling Becky, we were watching the last episode. I was like, I got to play a game on my phone. This is too intense. And I said, it's like DuckTales all over again. She's like, what? And I was like, when I was little, I'd watch DuckTales, and halfway through, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this is going to come out. And I changed the channel. I couldn't watch it. It was too tense.
For DuckTales?
Dude, it was intense. Very intense.
This is why you can't play Rook, huh?
Dude, I just found this out when I was dropping my daughter off at college. It's like, oh man, I'm like an emotional helicopter parent. I'm not going to like go do the things for her, but I'm going to over function and make sure that like, are you happy with this? Do you feel happy with this? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? You know, it's like, what the crap am I doing? That's what I guess it's my problem. I can't take the emotional intensity of DuckTales.
Goes back to DuckTales, Whitney. Don't worry.
It is. Like I was like, this is not about you. It's about Scrooge McDuck.
So what's the notch below DuckTales?
Like, what do you mean? Like less intense?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bluey? I've never seen Bluey.
Rob has the emotional capacity of Bluey.
Dude, it's seriously, it's like I can do this all day with clients. What is my deal? Why can't I watch DuckTales?
So
I can't stop. Ever since you said DuckTales, I keep thinking of that time that was it Brandon Urie on Jimmy Fallon when he gets out there and sings DuckTales?
I don't know. I think it's funny that they're redoing that show with a bunch of like funny actors in it.
You remember the theme song to Gummy Bears?
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah. I think
It's
I
a
found a
Gummy-
video a long time ago of the people that sing that song. Like, they're like getting into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
There was a TV show called Gummy Bears.
Dude. Gummy Bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Bouncing here and there. And
High
everywhere.
adventure with beyond compare.
It's
Clearly,
time
this
for
was an
Gummy Bears.
impactful
Is the
show
end of
for
that?
Matt.
So it's
It's
time
like
for
We Are the
Bears?
Gummy Bears, I think.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably my notch down. I could probably take Gummy
You
Bears.
could probably handle the intensity of Gummy Bears.
DuckTales, man. I don't know. Is he going to lose his fortune this time? What's going to happen? Never lost his fortune. Man. Never learned. Rob never learned. All right.
Although I will say, you have like hearing that. I think, I don't watch shows like that anymore.
What, Gummy Bears?
No, probably
Yes.
Fargo.
No, like Fargo. Like I was watching Slow Horses.
Oh, it's so good.
I know, but I like in the second episode, I was like, no, I don't think I can do the intensity of this show. Like, I just didn't want to have to deal with. Like, I just didn't want to have to deal with it. I was like, nope, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
So I might have been making fun of your DuckTales because, admittedly, I could handle DuckTales, I think.
Well, look, I don't know a single person on the planet who can't handle DuckTales besides me. So feel free to make fun. Holy
But
crap,
yes,
what's wrong with me?
other shows, like Jennifer's like, do you want to watch this? I'm like, no. She's like, but it's good. I'm like, yeah, but it looks like it's gonna, like, it's why I haven't watched Severance. I'm like,
Dude,
nope, I don't need that crap.
I haven't watched the second season yet.
dude, it's so good.
Oh, I totally forgot that it's out. So,
Well, remember,
Rob,
there.
I want to put you in the
Which is
right
funny,
emotional
'cause-
place today
I love freaking thrillers
before we start.
when I watch movies, but
Sorry, Mike, we don't get to hear it. I have to
No,
listen to
keep
this.
going, keep going, keep talking.
He likes
I'm gonna
thrillers.
interrupt you in a
He
second.
says he likes thrillers.
That
when
was
he watches
all.
Movies.
I can handle thrillers when I watch movies, but
Can you? You always scream.
not when I'm alone, only when I'm with people. Oh, rewrite history, DuckTales.
Seriously, it's like,
Why did I forget the
DuckTales.
woman that sings that song? Maybe
I
I've got that
thought it was
in
a
my head.
dude.
I feel like I've heard one with this a dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that was a newer.
Yeah, maybe that's the new
That
new
was-
show.
I
Okay.
was a little surprised by that.
I don't know. Whatever.
A
We're
DuckTales.
moving on past DuckTales.
Why?
We're getting into it.
Hey, wait,
Only-
is that the updated version?
does
This
that
is
mean?
probably the old one.
It's even more essential.
Well, this is the old one.
Wait, hold
but-
it up. It's the same thing. It just says New York Times bestseller.
So apparently the
Oh, it's
audiobook,
red.
Matt, yours says more than 1 million sold. And
he
the
did
audiobook?
in the audiobook he did a 10-year update.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's
Yeah.
what I listen to.
Yeah, so there's things in the audiobook that are slightly different than what's in the book.
Turns out the 10-year anniversary says, don't be so essential.
Wait. Maybe I listened to the old one because I've had it on there for a while.
If it starts with like, what did it have? I didn't listen to it because it wasn't
Mine has
in
a
my
big gold
book.
thing on the top, 10th anniversary.
Yeah, mine says that too. My guess
Yeah,
is
mine did too.
Yeah, my guess is that's the only
It was
thing you can
2014.
get.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it nothing significant. There were just a couple of times where I'd be like follow because I always read along when I do the audiobook too.
Somebody needs to punch this nerd.
And as I'm sitting there reading it, I was like, what the like suddenly I
Wasn't
just
matching
didn't know
up.
where he was. And then I would find like the end of a sentence and I was like, oh. And I'm like, well, how's that on the next page?
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of words he didn't say here. So
Well, we're talking about essentialism. by Greg McKeown, in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about.
I was just thinking about this morning too, because some people, I think the patron saint in particular, has said, "Why would I go read it?
You guys are
will
going to
just talk about
summarize
it."
it.
That's what I was thinking this morning. I was like, dude, if I come home and tell you about how cool Disneyland was, you'd be like, well, I don't need to go now. You talked about it. It's like, go read the book yourself, man.
So
Go ride the ride yourself.
On a side note, I don't think the patron saint will mind me sharing. We were talking about book readings, and I knew it was him just making jokes, but he goes, no, he's in school right now. I can't remember what for, but he's gone back to school.
Philanthropy.
For something beyond his current master's degree.
I like where that story's going.
Right. Anyway, he just said, he's like, no, he goes, that's where all my reading time is. It's all in school, which is
Makes
like,
sense.
I remember when I was studying, that's what it was for me. I quit reading everything.
Yeah.
And it was probably a good year after I finished. Like, I had read so densely for 3 years that the thought of reading a book, I was like, no, thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even fiction books, like, I didn't care.
I still feel that way. Put my eyeballs on a page. How about you just whisper in my ear?
Now I'm reading that to me is still reading, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. We've had that conversation before. I know a lot of people are like, I mean, did you read it or did you listen to it? It's like,
I know, but I think those people are snobs and idiots. So
I retain it way more, though, when I listen to it than when I see it. So
I don't. I retain better when I read it, but
we got an elitist. So that's right.
Okay.
You heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the usual. Actually, this is not the usual. I really like this book. It's very timely for me.
Yeah.
It made me feel like, I just had these conversations with my wife.
Finally picked a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was about to get off the rotation.
I don't, it is funny because it's like every other self-help book, but I talked about this with Matt too a little bit earlier, is that like it does repeat itself. He says some of the same phrases over and over again.
By this point in the book, he says that a lot.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, by this point in the book.
And I mean, he even uses some of there's a couple of like ideas that he goes back to again and again. And it's like, yeah, I got it.
No, but when you were talking about repetition, like I thought about my most helpful stats class ever was Alan Riefman at Texas Tech, because you remember that like pyramid of success.
Yeah. He's a funny dude.
Like he'd keep going back to the bottom of that pyramid no matter where we were at, and like keep tying it all back in and keep repeating things. And he said specifically, like, this is why I teach this way. And it was like repetition and exposure and then like linking concepts together. And man, I learned more in that class than like any other stats class I took. And I had some like really ones that were like really specific to one type of analysis that should have been pretty dialed in, but they didn't tie it to anything else. So it was kind of like, yeah.
Was it the repetition, or was it the fact that you went to Anova the musical?
No, dude, that was.
Did you go to those? Alan Riefman.
Well, he had it at the end of the semester, but I didn't do one. No.
He's obviously he was a stats guy at Texas Tech that I think everyone was like, that guy's on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was Asperger's. I remember getting into an elevator with him. It was like, what just happened to Alan Riefman? It was like he just disappeared. It was like, what is going on? But he would do musicals based on various different types of statistical analysis.
Songs and apply statistical lyrics.
It was like, that's class today. Come if you want. It was like, it was a sight to behold, man. He'd sing it, and he'd try to get you to sing it. And it was like, what is happening? That's the guy you want on your publications, Alan Riefman. So, yes, repetition, I think, actually, when I read this, I think, oh, that's actually good to hear it over and over and over again. Partly, too, because the idea of essentialism is like, well, he's kind of highlighting, this is the most important thing. I need you to hear this over and over and over again. I really like something that resonated with me a lot for some reason. Before I get into to me, the bulk of this was, you could reframe it in our field as boundaries, which he uses.
Yeah.
Too, but I really liked, for some reason, this idea when he talks about companies and how they use like what their mission statements are,
Mhm.
and mixing that with when he talked about the word priority used to be one word,
Yeah.
priority,
That drives me nuts.
and now it's like, what are our top 10 priorities? It's like you can't.
None of them if there are 10.
Yeah, you can't have 10. But thinking about like he mentioned, I think it was in a Stanford business class where it's like this company, their plan was to solve world hunger. And he's like, there's 5 people in the organization. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like the best example is Brad Pitt after Katrina, when he came in and said, I'm going to build 150 green sustainable homes in the 9th Ward. It was like something very specific and precise and succinct that I felt like I kept thinking, because I've been thinking about this in my own head, I kept thinking I need to be more, just state the thing and leave it there.
Yeah.
Like to be able to say to clients, this is what we're doing, or you need to hear this, but don't worry about all of this, and just let something sit for a second. For some reason, I think it's the speaking part to me that was a big deal. Like, how am I wording my things so that they come out in the most concise, punchy ways possible, which is not the main takeaway of this book, but it just really stuck out to me. Like, that's valuable. I'm not doing it right now. I need to just do that.
Power of brevity.
Yeah.
What was the name of the book?
It was like powerful brevity or something like that.
As opposed to weak brevity?
Maybe, I don't know. It was an interesting book. Just flipping through it, it was like a workbook,
Huh.
but not really.
Yeah, I am a complicated person, I think, when it comes to this stuff because, well, maybe I'm not that complicated. Maybe I'm like everybody else, but it feels like I am so intuitively and intrinsically drawn to simplicity, but somewhere it breaks down for me all the time. And I don't, I think I can identify where it happens and what it is a lot of times, but I still like find myself in loops that I think are improving over time. But then I also wonder, am I kind of resisting the complexity of life in general when I'm, because I think in theory, you could say like, I'm going to focus on this, this, and this, but it's like, until you realize you have a family and you have, it's like, there's other things that are hard to weave in. And maybe it's like the integration of these ideas that is hard for me. But I think like the beginning concepts that he starts with choice and trade-offs. I guess it's kind of like we were talking about dropping kids off at school. In some ways, the trade-off is really difficult, where it's like I can either teach my kid to deal with their own emotions, or I can step in because it makes me uncomfortable, and I want both, right? I want them to be comfortable and successful, but I also know that the only way to do that is to have the experience. But I do think the idea of choice is fascinating because, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit on one of the future episodes, but there was a study done that kind of makes me wonder, like, what the crap am I doing as a therapist? When I hear studies like this, I'm like, what? So there was 4 groups in this study, I think, but it was just a population of clinically depressed participants, and the first group just received therapy, the second just received medication, the third I think was waitlisted, and I can't remember if it was the waitlist group that they did this to or a separate group altogether, but we'll just say a 4th group. They told them, the only thing we want you to do is to eliminate the phrase "I can't," and replace it with "I choose to" or "I choose not to," and that group got better than everybody. It's like, wow. So something that simple, like looking at whatever you're doing and just acknowledging, I am choosing this. And it might not be ultimately a choice that I feel 100% good with, and that's why I'm saying I hate this, or I don't get to do, or I can't, or whatever. But until you kind of get down to the choice you are making, you can't recognize the trade-off you're making, which is, I think it's a secondary process of saying, I have to sacrifice something, let something go so that I can have something else more fully. And the decision-making process always fascinates me too. And I think that's probably where I get hung up on this, is I absolutely want, like, the idea of having a house that only has what I absolutely need in it. Right. And I enjoy, and having a day that is like centered on what I actually value, and having, you know, having that, and like food for me is another thing that I feel that way about. Right. But then felt that way till about 10 o'clock last night, and then I ate an entire bag of jalapeno Cheetos. Natalie's like, "How did you eat the whole bag?" I'm like, "How do you not eat the whole bag, dude?"
It's not that big.
But yeah, so I think I struggle with the discipline of actually grabbing what I think I truly want, which is simplicity and essential stuff. Like, it just feels so calming and peaceful to me to think of living that way. But I get there. I think I'm better than I was before, and maybe it'll just take a long time to get to where the place I envision in my head. And I could also be torturing myself in my head, thinking like, "You're not doing this right," you know. So I don't know, but I really like those two concepts of just, like, if you break down almost everything else he talks about, it comes down to, like, what choice am I making and what trade-off am I willing to make?
Right.
And if I was working at that level all the time in life, if that was my priority, right, like, what would be different?
It's kind of interesting because that's when you talk about this choice thing, I think, like, the priority, he talks about it like that it is to choose to do this, you will feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, I talked about it this morning with a client, like, it does feel empowering to feel like I'm choosing this, not this is happening to me. And I get the idea of, like, what am I doing with therapy?
Yeah.
When that's all it took.
I'm going to tell you something. Quit saying I can't. Say I choose to. See ya.
It is that, like, because you've talked to me about this before too, like the idea that sometimes you've described my house like it's like your house, it's like everything's simple and it's like, you know, like kind of like peaceful. And,
Yeah.
and I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily feel that way to me, but because when you mention how complicated things are, I think, yeah, he talks about that too, that part of the complication of stuff is, what am I giving up?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny. It's helpful to think you're always giving something up. Like one person I talked to this morning was like, dude, you can keep doing this, but you will. It was the whole thing about, he's like reaching a point where it's like, I feel like I can't keep going in life. So it's like, you're literally gonna give up, like, your life to make sure people still feel happy. You know, like, I think it's a little freaky. And you weren't going here fully, but my brain went off into this space thinking about the part of how scary it is to actually make the choice to make something my priority over something else.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole comparison point. Like, you see what everybody else is doing and it looks like they're freaking nailing it. Like, they're doing all of it. Why can't I do all of it? And so it makes it hard to say, I'm not choosing to do that. Like, when you listen to the book or read it, it sounds so empowering to hear him say, no, that's not where I want to go.
Yeah.
And there are parts of my life where I do that. Like, people are like, why don't you see people after 5? It's like, because I want to spend time with my family. Like, I have a family too. So, but that one was easy for me. But other parts of my life, when it comes to something that really freaks me out, like, how am I going to pay for everything? I better just work more.
Yeah.
So I'll say yes to everybody. And I like the idea of being counted on. So I'll say yes to everybody. And so the decision-making process of, like, it becomes so ingrained in your head over time, if you've gotten used to always saying yes. Sometimes I don't think we even know when we're saying yes and we should be saying no.
Yeah.
And then if I really think about it, it's like, but I can't really. I mean, he says it sounds so easy.
Yeah. Well, it's a book.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, I was just thinking through it, this, like, how do I recognize where I've gotten out of balance. And actually, maybe he mentioned this and it just didn't resonate with me deeply, but I feel like mine is the places where I get out of balance is always where I feel the most anxiety. It's not necessarily about people pleasing.
You feel
like if I say no, then everything will dry up and I'll be living under a bridge.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like where anxiety spikes is like
Yeah,
you get off balance. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think and sometimes you don't even like allow yourself the time to think through
Right.
what it is you're actually doing, and it's just more of like a compulsion. So that's where I like the idea of like even in that moment you're making a choice. So what is it, right? Like and there's so many ways that we get, I think, tangled up in our thinking, even in conversations with ourselves about that we move so quickly to the like what am I going to do?
Yeah.
That that we can't even get to like what is happening in that moment. And you're
In
saying
that choice.
Yeah, in that moment, like something happens, somebody asks me something, and my mind calculates very quickly a yes because it knows that there's anxiety right below that. But like, even down deeper, it's like what is it that's happening at a choice level? What choice did I make a long time ago that set me in this rhythm? And I think it can be simpler than that by, when we just do something different sometimes. It's like, oh, okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I said no, and the world didn't blow up, right? But I think sometimes it takes like a deeper unlocking.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because part of me is like, I've thought about this with clients too. Like, do we have to always unlock something? Like sometimes are we overthinking or over talking? Because I agree with you. I want to figure out, that is a deeper anxiety. But in the end, I still have to make the choice to do something different and then live with that anxiety until it becomes not an anxiety anymore. But I think that matters to what you're saying. It's like to unlock that part. It's like I at least have to know that it's there, or it will just keep automatically driving my behavior. I think what I liked about this and what actually my client today was saying too is like on his own, he's like, I guess I just have to like make a choice to change something. I was like, yeah, if you don't, you know where it's going to go. Like, which sounds so simple. And that's maybe the unlocking part is.
I think that's a moment, right, where like everything aligned for your client.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is resonating on multiple levels for me in this conversation. And so maybe there is something being unlocked, but the sentence is just, I need to choose something different.
Yeah. Which I think with him, and I tried to boil it down a little bit to say, I do think it matters to do, he emphasizes this at various points, but it does matter to actually have an idea of what actually matters to you.
Yeah.
Like, what am I actually trying to accomplish by doing all these things? Do I actually care if I fill in the blank here? Like, do I actually care if I ever become some sort of world famous Brene Brown type thing, or do I not? Or is it like, I don't really care?
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know. I'd have to think through that question. Like, and it could be that that's the wrong way to think about it. It's like, I don't care about that, but I do care about putting a message out. So, because once I know what I care about, like even with this podcast, like when people are like, you meander too much, it's like, yeah, but that's partly because we care about the meandering. Like I was thinking about this book too, thinking it's kind of interesting that this will be, if I really let this, the Manspace could really just be a space where you're watching the three of us go through a process of bettering ourselves and becoming something more. And hopefully it's beneficial to you. And in that process, I want to meander. I want to like, you're going to get to see what my life is like. And as he says, he's like, that's okay. If that's for some people, it's like, you don't like that part, skip ahead or don't listen to the show. I mean, everyone should listen to the show. Tell your friends to listen to the show. I mean, again, we still don't get paid anything for this. I just keep rubbing that into all the listeners as though it's like, you guys owe us big time. Look at all we do for you.
We sit and meander.
Yeah, but I think it matters. That's part of, I meander because I think it matters. It's something that I value. I want this to feel natural and normal. So that's something, it's like, I wouldn't lose that. But I think it matters. It's motivating to feel like I know why I'm doing this thing. I can see some sort of vision down the road, which I actually think is very hard for a lot of people. I've asked clients many times, what is the thing you're working towards? And they have no clue.
I think for most of us, yeah, it's what am I working myself out of or away from?
Yeah.
And
But they never know.
yeah,
I just don't want this, which we've talked about many times on here.
yeah,
But it's a question to say. Even I asked a client recently, like, well, what is the purpose of your life? Like, what are you doing?
mhm,
What do you, when you're dying, what do you want this to look back and say, this is what I did? He had no answer.
mhm.
But he's like, I realize that's why I'm kind of in this rut. I'm just kind of passively going wherever life takes me,
Mhm.
which means, yeah, you're not going to be super satisfied.
Yeah.
So that's my week off I want to take,
Mhm.
is because I want to start to kind of narrow down, okay, what am I actually trying to do here? I've done the first thing of what I wanted to do, and now it's been going for 15 years, and so it's fine. It can keep going. But what's the next thing that I want to do that feels like this, so that I'm willing to make choices to say, I'm cutting down my hours to do what he talked about, and I'm going to write from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m., no interruptions, no one talks to me. I don't know, Mike. I love doing that to him. Huh? What?
Mike.
But no, there were times like when I was in the early parts of the book, I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to agree with what he was talking about. And there were still times where I don't know. Like he shared the one example of some Czech man from the Czech Republic.
Oh,
Well, they're not Czechoslovakian anymore, so I didn't know what to call them. But some guy from Czech Republic, and he reached out to this other guy and was like, "Hey, can I interview you for this book I'm writing?" The guy was like, "Nope, sorry, I only do things that benefit me." And I was like, I don't think that works as a model for life. Which I don't think that Greg McKeown was actually suggesting that was
Everybody's
right. Because to me, I think, yeah, like to me, that was the thing that I kind of kept coming back to with this essentialism was like, right, but some of the things that we do require other people. It's the nature of the world. And if we all took this essentialist approach where we only do the thing that benefits, that is essential to me, well, what if the thing that's essential to someone else requires two people? And so I think, yeah, like I have, but again, like I don't think he was suggesting we all live like that. But this idea,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this idea of, and that's especially as I got into the second half of the book where he was introducing the idea less and talking about how to implement it more. I just kept coming, like I've had a handful of clients where they get to a point where things are going good. And I'll say, all right, so like long term, what do you want? And he's like, I don't know. I don't really feel a need to find out either. And I was like, okay. And I at the time it didn't necessarily sit right with me. But I couldn't pinpoint why I thought it was a bad idea. But ultimately it was that idea of, well, if I'm not working towards anything, what am I actually doing?
Mhm.
And so I kept coming back to this idea of like, no, I have to have an idea of what's important to me. I have to have an idea of this is the person I want to be. This is the thing I want to accomplish, right? Essentially, I have to have an idea of what's essential in my life to at least give me some direction. Now, there is something to be said for living the present. He talks quite a bit about that, about living very much in the present and focusing on, like, what's important now.
Mhm.
He spent a chapter on that.
Yeah.
And that idea of saying, right, like I spend a lot of time trying to get clients to just say, no, what's the next thing? Like, that's usually the way I phrase it with my clients is like, no, I want you to start asking the question, like, okay, what's the next thing? Like, stop trying to solve 10 problems down. Just what's the next thing and go to work on it. But yeah, so I don't know, like I feel rambly, incoherent thoughts, I guess, but just that idea of really kind of the importance of understanding those things that are important to me. And then saying, yep, that's where I want my focus to be. That's what I want this to be.
That's what I think is different. I don't necessarily remember him, saying, nope, it's not going to benefit me. So see ya, like, I don't remember it quite that way, but I do think, if you could understand that guy's priorities, maybe that guy's like, no, people ask me every day if I can do this or this or this for them, and I, interview, and I can't because it means I'll never get my stuff done.
Yeah.
And so, he did give examples of like, there's ways to say no that are good and ways to say no that aren't great.
Yeah.
And I generally think that it's better to, I think it does matter that people say no, because it does feel like it's not a retreat thing. I think as long as it's deliberate, like I know what I'm trying to do. And that's when I think about this, I think it is, I like the existential nature of some of this, which is I have limited time in life. Like, what do I want to actually spend my time doing? And how much time do we as spacemen and women, maybe even little space cadets, how much time do we spend doing something because we have to, or we think we have to, or specifically to meet expectations, but it really is not moving us forward in any direction we want to go? Like I admire entrepreneurs who really are like, well, I want to try this. I'm going to go do this thing. And it's like they pursue something, not just like I need a job that provides money. Now, if the idea, that's not a bad thing. If someone's like, what I really want my life to be is I'll work a job because it's necessary, and that's okay. And I will quiet quit, essentially, or not quiet quit, but I'll phone it in at this job because that's not my priority. My priority is to be home, and I'm not worried about advancing. It's like, cool, great. If that's what you're looking for, then awesome. But I think most of us, it resonated with me enough to feel how often I think about what other men think about me, like how much money I make or how professional I look, how successful I look, because we measure each other's successes. And so I've told you guys before, I sometimes have this thing inside me that when somebody else has a success, even if I had no desire in that success, I'm like, why don't I have that success? It's like, I don't even want that success. I just want success. And I more specifically, I want people to look at me and be like, look at him, because it means I'm not a total idiot. But then I think, is that what I want my priority to be? Like, I think that it really matters to think through, well, what do I actually want? Like, what is it that I want my priority to be? You don't have to say I have to have a goal that I'm working towards, but everybody has a priority. Like even your client, Mike, that you're talking about, I think he has a priority. His priority might be, I want life to be easy. I don't want to think about
ironically to me is a goal.
Right. That's what I mean.
Like, yeah, there's no difference to me, at least, between a priority and a goal. It's just a wording choice.
Yeah, it's wordsmithing. It's saying, no, Well, there can be a difference there because priority, you could say one's where you spend your time and one's like you got to work. I don't know, however you want to phrase it, but there probably is no difference.
Like I said, there's not to me. Yeah,
But
I'm sure someone sees it.
He doesn't want to work towards anything.
Right.
So he's maybe your client's working in a passive way, which is, well, I don't want to try hard because I want things to be easy. It's like, okay, then that's your priority. That's fine.
Right.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but
no, but that's like, to me, I think, I don't know. I do think that was one of the things that's missing here, or not missing. One of the things that, as he's talking about, right, the title of the book is Essentialism, with the subtitle of the disciplined pursuit of less. And towards the end, they talk a lot about simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, don't mistake that for saying, well, I want to sit around and do nothing. That's not at all what he's talking about. At no point is he talking about cutting things out of your life so that you can just lounge more.
That's what I do.
He's talking about how do you make the effort you're giving the best effort it can be.
Right.
And like early on starts out, and has a picture of a circle and it's got arrows going all the different ways. And then he essentially takes each of those arrows and puts them on one, and shows like, look, if you focus on simply one thing, look how high up it goes. Whereas if you're focusing on 50 things, you're just going to focus a little bit. And there's a section where he talks about multitasking versus multi-focus. And it's like, sure, you can multitask. You can't multi-focus. Like your brain is simply like, you're not going to be able to give equal concentration to two things at the same time. And that to me is the thing. He's not talking about getting to a place where we're sitting around lazily doing nothing.
Right.
He's talking about getting to a place where you're living in a way that you're as productive as you can be. And that's like, I had this idea, I don't know, talking with clients, maybe anyway. For me, I can't relax well if I haven't felt, which we've talked about this before, if I don't feel productive.
Yeah.
Like I can't, there is no appeal anymore in a day where I wake up and do nothing all day long. I have to do something that I can look back and say, well, that was productive. Even if that something is making pies. Like, sweet, I made a pie. Cool, that was productive. Does it make the world a better place? No, it makes me a little fatter probably, but outside of that, like,
it looks so good.
The pies.
You got to make us a pie when we come up. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I will. You guys can even put your requests.
I'm gonna make requests. Okay, anyway, keep going.
But it's just one of those where, to me, I think, right, that productive helps me relax. I can still be doing less, but if I'm doing it really well, then that's the goal. It's not to not do things, it's to cut out the extraneous things that allow us to really focus on the things we want to, on our priority.
Yeah, I wonder too, like when we were talking about midlife crisis and second half of life stuff, I don't think any of us need to figure out what we're good at anymore. Like I think there is wisdom in trying a lot of things. There's this book I read a while back called Range, and it talks about how we tend to want to funnel kids into an activity so that they can become really good at it. But that when you look at the data, the kids that have been able to do exactly what that circle you're talking about is in high school, right? They get to do like a lot of different things and try out. And maybe they're not great at any of them, that they actually do better later. But yeah, we're kind of at that point where, like, as a mission statement, right, or a priority, actually don't like the word priority as much as just purpose,
Mhm.
but like if it was a priority based purpose, right? If I know what that is, if I say like I want to bring maximal satisfaction to myself and benefit to the world around me by engaging in like the one thing that I am amazing at, and I just went all in on that, then I would say no to anything that doesn't serve that purpose. But I wouldn't be saying that's not a worthy request, or I'd probably be spending more time with people who are doing what I'm doing, and I'd know more people who are amazing at that thing you're asking about, and I could point you to them. And if I know, like when I read this book the first time, I was in an administrative role, and it was like, I suck. Like I can do administrative stuff, but I suck at being consistent, and like that is not where my maximum benefit is. And what I started to feel was like the life literally being sucked out of me because I'm spending time on something that I'm not great at, and I'm failing people, and there's somebody else who's much better at this, but the institution I'm working for doesn't prioritize people enough to have that position filled, so I'm doing somebody else's job. Like it just keeps going and going and going, when I knew like my maximum benefit is teaching, and I'm being pulled from that. So I should have, I mean, obviously there's lots of other factors that play into it, but looking back, it's like if I had realized that sooner and made a move sooner, maybe things would be different in positive ways. I don't know. But I like the idea of just really getting clear on like where are you going to do the most good, and maybe underline specifically most, because we could all do good in a lot of different areas. And I think when we're trying to figure ourselves out and establish our value and our identity, we get stuck on, I want to be good for everything and everybody, and the anxiety of letting somebody down, or maybe like failing at the one thing you set out to do. I'm saying all these things as though I've mastered them, and I still suck. But like Rob and I were talking about this before, like I set aside all this time to work on stuff, and the first day I'm like, yeah. And I'm like gung ho. Second day I'm like, this is stupid. It's gonna fail. It's just like everybody else's stuff. And then like third day it's like, I'm gonna watch YouTube. But it's that like anxiety that comes up when you make a clear choice to accept trade-offs, and then those trade-offs almost like chase you, like, hey, what about this, and I think it's really hard to just keep saying like, you're not mine, right? Like this is where I'm going.
Well, and I think that's an important thing to understand. Like he talked about leaving law school in England and coming, back to America and trying to choose what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one day saying to his wife, hey, what if I went to Stanford? And he goes, and as soon as I said it, I knew that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, because every time I would go to apply to a different school, the clarity would vanish. And he said, and so I, and it took him two rounds to get in, right? They didn't accept him the first time. And for me, I was putting myself in that position, and I thought, yeah, that'd be really hard. Especially, I think, right, as a father who feels tasked to provide for his family.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about how he had other offers come up. And like there is this weird kind of commitment necessary to know this is the thing I want.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing that, and that's like certainly, Matt, the anxieties you expressed about that, I think, yeah, I get those, and that's the thing, like, again, it's easy for me to sit here from the outside and say, yeah, but like, I know that you have a different way of looking at things where I think, no, like,
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it. This will be super beneficial to dudes.
Yeah.
It's great that I see that. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like,
no, but it is helpful to know, like, I think we all do need a chorus of support around us in that initially, right? And then we become that for other people.
Yeah.
But as you're talking about wants, yeah, one of my favorite phrases or signs you can hang on your wall is you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. So what's your anything, basically, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are you going to pick? And accept that you're not going to have any of this other stuff, and you got to pick this one thing. And we all try to teach our kids that, and we try to, but yeah, like the stability for your kids. I'm like, I want my kids to go through hard things and see that when you charge at something you really want, you can make it happen. And I want them to have the stability of knowing that their needs are going to be met, and there's not going to be any disruptions in life. And but I can't have both of those things.
Yeah.
And so I probably straddle the line, on a lot of things because of that.
Well, and that was, I think, one of the things that I particularly appreciated about the Stanford story was it models this idea. Like, for me, if Stanford had said no, I'd have been like, all right, well, then I guess that wasn't the next thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess I was wrong, and I need to find the new next thing. And so to me, the fact that he's like, no, this is the thing. And sure, it didn't work the first time, but I'm not going to give up on the thing because it's the thing. I'm going to keep going. And so, like, tying it back into the work you're trying to do with men and the course you're trying to launch, I think, right. So maybe it doesn't go exactly the way you plan it the first time.
Yeah, I know it won't.
But
but it's okay.
But knowing, right, like, one of the things that I think meeting together every week, as the three of us have for 4 years. I mean, you guys have been doing it longer than that, but
not productively, but yes.
But it has helped me, like, the issues of facing men and what it's like to be a man, like, have become much more important to me. It's really kind of helped me solidify, like, no, there is value in this thing that we're doing. To where every time you guys talk about, like, well, I don't know, like, maybe we won't keep doing it. I'm like, no, I don't want to stop doing it. Like,
we won't.
I never actually say anything. I just sit there.
He's like, yeah, man,
like these freaking old, irrelevant old men.
3 old white guys. But yeah, that commitment of, like, no, but this is the thing, like, knowing that this is a talent you have in it, and the way that you see it is, anyway, just, yeah, that commitment to stick with it, even if it doesn't work. Because it's having identified, no, this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's my thing for now, right?
Definitely.
So I think it's kind of interesting. I'll bring it home, I guess, because we're out of time. I was just thinking how it's interesting to think about sometimes our purpose or our priority, which may be one and the same, is already there. Like, we don't have to search for a new purpose.
Right.
It's just saying, it's just saying, well, what is it that I want? If I'm already really good at this, maybe I need to look down that road. And that's where you can start to point. So Spacemen start asking, like, well, where am I already good? Where do I already find the most joy or the most whatever? Start pointing yourself down that road. I did think it was interesting too, the overlap of, like, your phrase, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. And I thought that's a good phrase for a marriage.
Yeah.
Like, when people are like, well, maybe somebody else is like, you're trading, it's all trade-offs.
Yeah.
Like, you will never get everything you want in your marriage. And so in some ways, marriages are just giant factories of essentialism. Like, what am I giving up to make this as purposeful as I can make it?
Yeah.
And so the more you can do that too with your own relationship, I think the happier you become, because everything starts to have more meaning. This isn't, and even productivity, it's like, yes, making it productive, but not productive in the sense that people do now, which is like, sleep less, be more productive.
Right.
Produce more.
It's being more efficient. And like, I'm getting the most value out of life, really, because I'm producing and doing what I want in ways that are not just naturally, but like, they took work that are good for me and I'm good at.
Yeah.
So, Spacemen, go get the book, and I'll tell you the next book. The book that you should be reading is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. If you haven't already read it, shame on you. You can't ride the roller coaster based on my words. I'm going to diverge. I'm picking the next one. I think it's my turn. And so I'm going to diverge slightly because we've done all these kind of self-helpy. We're going to read. I've already read it. I've told you guys about it, but we're going to read it's called Destiny of the Republic, a tale of madness, medicine, and the murder of a president. It's a historical book. Because I actually thought, as I read through it, there's a number of things in here that I think apply to men and the way we function as men. And I talk all the time with my wife about how I watch the way things are going now politically and thinking, does nobody pay attention to history at all? Like, this looks exactly like this. I could, on both sides of the political fence, I could say, this looks just like this. Did we not learn when we did this 100 years ago? Did we not learn did we not know that this party used to actually be the party for this, but now it's the party for this? And, so I think history matters a ton. And I think it helps us understand ourselves better as humans and the context that we exist in, because there's parts of this book that you can see. It's like we're doing the same thing again. We just keep repeating over and over. And so I think it matters. So it's a slight divergence because it's not directly related to men. It is a fascinating book. It's historical. So it is nonfiction, but it is written so well that it weaves together like
it's like Eric Larson.
Yeah, a little bit. This is the
guy that wrote like the it's like parallel stories going on in the same city.
Yeah. Eric Larson did like Devil in the White City.
Yeah.
He did a great one surrounding Tesla and Marconi.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can't remember the name of it. And the first,
there's lots of authors like him. Eric Larson, Hampton Sides.
This
David
book
McCullough.
is Candace Millard.
The one we're talking about, The Destiny of the Republic. Yes, Candace.
Why is the hardback so freaking expensive?
Oh, I don't know.
Because you need to start listening to your books, Mike.
It's not.
I always buy the book.
It's probably a textbook for somebody. I don't know.
What's the?
I mean, it's only like $30, but
what's the what? So, Spaceman, that's your next book. In about a month, sometime in the beginning of October, we'll be covering this book, Destiny of the Republic. Destiny of the Republic.
Who's the president who dies? Is it Lincoln?
Garfield.
Oh.
It's
boring. I thought it was Lincoln.
Nope. I considered a Lincoln
now I'm
one
way less interesting.
Called Team of Rivals, but it's super dense and a little too long, I think. This one is audiobook. It's 10 hours.
You guys can say the book itself is like $350.
It's good, man. It is good. So that'll be our next one. Get ready for it. And then come back next time and catch us on the Manspace. Matt, that Chinese food made me tired.